let's talk about water conservation. You can't talk about a plumbing system without talking about the water that flows through it. And in this course, when we focus on sustainability, let's tie our topic to one of the main sustainability goals, which should be water conservation. How do we use water in our buildings? Let's take a look. On the left, we have some residential water use, and it looks like over half of the water used in residences is used for landscaping and in the outdoors. For the indoor uses, the major components are the toilet and the clothes washer, also showers, faucets, which include the kitchen and sinks, and also our dishwasher and baths. Note the major component of leaks in here. For the commercial buildings, it varies wildly by the type of building. All right, so let's just take a look at office buildings right here. It looks like the major use is domestic water that includes all water for drinking and restrooms, right? Also important is water used for heating and cooling. And finally, we have this big chunk here for outdoor use and landscaping, and kitchen and dishwashing use up here. So how can we reduce that water use or practice water conservation? There are four major categories or ways that we can reduce water use. And the first one is to reduce water losses or leaks. So maintenance is a huge piece of this problem. The second one, and probably the one that we can influence the most as architects and designers, is to increase water efficiency of fixtures, equipment, systems, processes, and a big piece of this includes landscaping. All right, so choose water efficient fixtures and efficient landscaping. Water conservation can also be achieved by the actions of the building users and residents. And this can be done by encouraging water saving behaviors. A building owner or a tenant or a homeowner can provide education to the people who use and live in that building to reduce their water use, right? Ways to save water. But as an architect and designer, you can also help this activity by providing water metering and sub-metering for the different water processes in your building. There's a saying, you can't fix it until you can measure it. By providing this sub-metering function, you provide a way for somebody to judge how much water they're actually using and therefore some ways to improve. The last piece of this is an opportunity to reuse on-site alternative water. This is more typically for the larger buildings, and it includes treated gray water or rainwater to be used for landscape. The International Plumbing Code includes this table here, 604.4, which restricts the maximum flow rates and water consumption for different plumbing fixtures. All right, and this is the kind of the water conservation piece of the plumbing code. And so you can see right here that each fixture or fitting is listed and its maximum flow rate or water quantity. For example, your private lavatory, so this is your residential lavatory or a restroom intended for one person, all right, is 2.2 gallons per minute. And for example, your water closet, your toilet, is 1.6 gallons per flush. All right. Gallons per flush is a flush volume. All right, gallons per minute is a flow rate. All right, so two different ways to measure the water use depending on the type of fixture. So these efficiency standards in the plumbing code and elsewhere, they typically leave it to the fixture manufacturers on as to how to actually meet these goals. So they're a performance goal rather than a prescriptive goal of exactly how to create fixtures that meet these goals. All right. Some of the standards that the states adopt apply to the sale and installation of the plumbing fixtures in addition to their manufacture. So not only can you not make fixtures that don't hit these goals, all right, in a particular state, but you can't sell them and you can't install them, right? Three different corners of the same legislation. So across the country, the IPC, International Plumbing Code, has pretty much universally been adopted, but some states have their own mandatory standards for plumbing fixtures, typically a more difficult standard, typically lower rates than the IPC. All right, and here's a map of some of them. Notoriously, it is New York and California, which have the lowest standards. All right. Some states, instead of lowering the standards, they use tax credits, rebates, financial incentive programs to encourage low flow fixtures. We've just talked about water conservation, its connection to our plumbing topic, and to the sustainability topic of our course, and a little bit about the codes and regulations that affect your design. Thanks, everyone.